This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers Omeji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Circa Barrakiel, Remy Asalia, Arcadia Lunashine, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Asuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimsdaughter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, Bob CC, Mikta Rabentau, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Umbral Wind, Quick Levin, Pamela Isley, Camille Grino, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Bay Barbale, Suno Chicano, Celestau Noitrell, Lazy Boy, A Bag of Dragonite, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Yowie Wowie, Kai Lin, AJ Brainswordson, Anathus Moonscar, Arthur Law, Biridan Derard, Sidepup, Spencer Christmas, and Noy Fafnir. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 286. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston and Mela Vanudar. Welcome. It is February 5th, 2022, and our main stories today is the Korean FanFest Q&A that it's pretty fresh off the press right now. It's been translated to English. We'll talk about that today. And we'll also give our review of the Valentione's Day event. And we'll be reading your MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned for the post-show. We'll be reading questions from the Syndicate as usual. I definitely read the wrong date. It is not February 5th. It's February 12th.
I thought that happened, but I didn't.
See,
yeah.
We have a attention Lakeel part of the script or the notes that states the date, and it's wrong. So I just read the wrong date. That's last week's date, everyone. It is February 12th. Sorry. Yes. Let's fix that. Right, stay tuned for the post-show. We'll be reading questions from the Syndicate, as usual. But before we do that, let's talk about the channel for a little bit, because there's a few questions about Rollo, who has now been missing for the entire season so far, so all of the episodes. Rollo will be back. He has given us a kind of maybe next-ish week, but I don't think that means next. We don't know if can't promise that he'll be here next week on the next week's episode, but definitely, possibly the week after. It's a little up in the air still, but yeah, definitely, possibly the week after. But he will be back, so don't worry. We haven't fired Rollo. Also, I know a lot of people point out Georgi looks quality low, but don't know why. Sometimes it clears up. It might be because I was rendering MogMail while we went live. That might be a part of the reason why, but we'll see. Maybe it'll clear up. Maybe it won't. I don't know what's happening. That's that. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let's jump into recent events. Right, in recent events, we're going to start off with something that has been introduced that I feel like should have been introduced a long time ago. The option to, or not the option, I think you kind of have to now, or is it optional? I'm not sure. We'll read.
I think
we'll read
it's
the
being
post.
forced.
Okay, it's being forced. You can now link your Steam, or you must link your Steam version to your Final Fantasy 14, or sorry, your Steam account to your Final Fantasy 14. Nope, Square Enix account. So there's a lot of spaghetti in the Final Fantasy account system here. There's a post on the Lodestone. I'll just read that and then we'll discuss it. As part of ongoing efforts to further enhance account security and bolster fraud prevention measures, we will be implementing an additional account verification and login confirmation process for Final Fantasy XIV Steam version service account holders. That's a long sentence. Users can verify their account type by logging into the MOG station and selecting the service account status menu, where Steam service account holders will see a Steam notation. Currently, Steam version service account accounts can be used after Final Fantasy XIV has been launched from any instance of the Steam software. Starting in early March 2022, users who log in using a Steam version service account will be prompted to perform a one-time link of their Steam account to their Square Enix account. From then on, the Square Enix account will need to match the Steam account that launches the Final Fantasy XIV software. This change will require the Final Fantasy XIV software to be launched from the user's Steam library. Additionally, once the account link has been performed, users will need to utilize the new launcher layout introduced with patch 6.0. If using the original launcher layout setting in the launcher config menu, please switch to the new launcher layout. It does not specify what happens if you don't. Does it just... Do you just, like, brick... what happens? Like, can you just not launch the game?
Play.
Yeah, does it just not let you in?
No, it doesn't specify. So you probably should do that to save yourself hours in the customer support. To link accounts, the Steam account must possess a Final Fantasy XIV license that matches that found on the target Square Enix account / Final Fantasy XIV service account, example the free trial version or the full game version. You can verify the Final Fantasy XIV licenses on your Steam account by clicking on your Steam display name, selecting account details, and then view licenses and product key activations found under store and purchase history. If your Steam account no longer has a Final Fantasy XIV license, or you no longer have access to the Steam account that contains the license, please contact Steam for assistance. So there you go. I really love the detail with the old launcher thing, because that is like such a Final Fantasy XIV thing. It's like they can't do that for you. Yeah. So who uses the old launcher? Like, in what situation would you want to use the old launcher?
Some people visually don't like the new launcher. And I believe it's also... Some people have also said that, yeah, the old launcher is faster for them if they're...
Odd.
Working with
like
an older system.
Oh, if it's an old system, maybe. Because I always found that to be really sluggish and... I said this before. You can look back in older episodes. I used to be embarrassed that was our launcher because it looked like something from like 2011. Yeah, because it had like the glossy buttons, a glossy like layout.
It was very 2010s.
Yes, it was. Yeah, so there you go. You now have to link your Steam version. Apparently, you were able to like open multiple don't quite understand. Does it mean you can open multiple launchers? Because I believe right? Is that what they mean? Like you can log into multiple accounts on one Steam account? I'm not entirely sure what the issue is. What the fraud prevention is.
And then you can play multiple accounts by one purchase, like you've got the game or what? I don't know.
Oh, that sounds. If that's the case, then yeah, that must have been used a lot.
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend ever buying this game on Steam.
No, but at least we're one step closer to it being more in line with. Because now it'll be linked to your Square Enix account, so now it's going to be one. So that's good.
I assumed it already was. I've never tried the Steam version, but I guess not.
Going by all the issues we've heard over the years with the Steam version, it does. I don't think it has ever been very much linked to your account. Okay, so there you go. That's that. Make sure you do that. When will they enforce it? March 2022. So next month. Okay, moving on. They did it again, folks. They made a trailer for an OST. They are brave in what they're doing. They're pioneers in this new field of OST trailers, where they...
Honestly,
yeah?
I think this is Soken's idea, and I think he thinks it's funny.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so. If that's the case, then I approve. But if not, this is complete bonkers. It's such a whiplash of an experience. There's 3 seconds of each song. There is no title on the screen. There is just like a scene from the game for the 3 seconds, then it switches, and that's the whole video. It is impossible to like... I don't know what it is. You can't absorb anything.
I'm down for it. In this modern era of long form content, if this was as part of the zeitgeist, it would be like 10 minutes of explanation before each track, then the clip, and then the next one. So
well, the thing is, it's hard.
you don't need this. Why do you even need an OST trailer?
Why have an OST trailer that shows every fucking track? Like,
yeah, just show like the top 3.
Make it like a real trailer.
30 seconds of them.
Yeah, have a select few songs, and then you can, we don't need to listen. I don't know. It's weird. It's fun if you want to watch the video and go watch the video, and you'll know what we mean. But it is a difficult experience. I'll say that.
Will be in the description of the
YouTube
video.
Yes. So there you go. New OST trailer for the Endwalker OST.
Yay.
Valentione's Day. Valentine. So spoilers for Valentione's Day, but don't worry. It's not much to really spoil. Now I haven't actually finished this for a reason that will become obvious soon. So I realized, I remembered that we had to do the review for this yesterday. I logged in today to be like, okay, I'm gonna do the Valentione's Day quest. I was so bored during the first part. And when I went to deliver it, I'm like, oh, thank God it's fucking over. But then I remembered that when I picked up the quest, it didn't have a reward thing in the quest description. I'm like, uh-oh, wait, what does this mean? Do I just get to buy it, maybe? There's another quest. So, I didn't do that. I started it, and then I'm like, oh no, it's going to be a lot more of this. So let's jump into the story. I can only contribute to the first half of this. It's a delivery.
Valentione's gifts. There's a new post-Moogle on the block.
Yes.
A woman
Thank you,
post-Moogle.
You have to do
Coop
this.
Coop has too many letters, and he asked the post-Moogle organization for help.
Yes.
Conglomerate, yes. So they sent him this very incompetent post-Mooglet.
Yeah, and she doesn't care about the job.
She doesn't care about love.
No. And, well, we've got to change her mind because our opinion's correct.
Yes.
And then you go. The first half is you delivering them to people around town. There's a carpenter who got a gift of chocolates from his daughter.
His culinarian daughter.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then the second half is a little bit more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
This is about an actual love story between a man and a woman.
Don't worry, it's still bad.
Okay, good.
It's a love story between classes, between nobility from Ishgard and poverty from Gridania.
The prince and the pauper, one might say.
Yeah.
A tale as old as time.
And they communicate via correspondence, even though they're in the same city.
Yes.
He is in Gridania because he is apparently sickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wants to marry her, and she doesn't want to marry him because she believes she's not good enough to be a noble lady.
Not worthy. She's too poor. She's too uneducated. I don't know.
She's not. Yeah. She just doesn't get it, and so they communicate.
She doesn't understand high society.
Right.
And in the end, they decide that it's fine, whatever. And we have to go around with a stupid little Kirby-faced Astrid. I can't stand her meddling in people's affairs. It's unacceptable. The amount of why do we take so much interest in them?
There is one choice, which I guess is the only interesting thing about the whole event. Whose opinion did you take on when helping the woman write her letter? Was it Astrid's, was it Lizette's, or the new dumb post-Moogle?
The new Moogle.
Oh, you got a
Yeah,
choice.
so that's what I picked as well. The other two options were so shit, and they're supposed to
other
be the
two
ones
options-
experienced in this.
Yeah, the other two options were imposing. Like one of them was like, no, show your worth, be who you are, and the other one was like, no, acquiesce to his, try and be a noble woman. And then the post Moogle says, well, if this is true love, it shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to talk about it. I was like, yeah, that's the right opinion. Oh, I was yawning throughout the whole thing.
I was yawning as well. It was so bad. Well,
Yeah.
The problem is that it's just so it's so basic after
It's super
just
basic.
following on from the Halloween, from the All Saints Wake, the Heaven's Turn, the Starlight Festival ones. It's just so boring.
Yeah, they kind of set the bar very high with the previous ones, I guess. So
Maybe they've shot themselves in the foot. I think most Valentiones I don't enjoy that much because they're always quite simple.
they're always
stories,
this.
but it's always us
Yeah.
pushing ourselves into other people's business. And I find it really especially Astrid. She really forces her opinions into these people's lives.
Yeah.
But in fairness to the event, this is technically, in a way, a post-Moogle quest. And I've heard so many good things about the post-Moogle quests.
Have you not done that?
This is
What's
not a
going on?
post-Moogle quest.
No, I've left post-Moogle quests because I've heard, when you hear such a good thing about it, you think, I'm going to save that for when I really want to do a good quest.
Don't compare this to the post-Moogle quest.
No.
The post-Moogle quests are like an insight into lore from A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Yeah.
I will say,
Yeah.
after the event quests, the repeatable quests, I actually enjoyed. You essentially have there are 5 letters that you can help other people write. And depending on how well you write them will depend on whether you get like a happy ending or a bad ending. Like, for example, one of them is just, I like how the game actually calls them nameless adventurers who are working for Mother Mione, and you have to write, and they failed their last mission. So like you have to help them write we're sorry that we failed, but we want to keep working. And if you get it wrong, she fires them.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
Well, all right. I'll have to try that. I haven't done that, but
Yeah, I've not done the
The
repeat.
post ones are
I'll
fun.
do that.
Like
Yeah.
one of them is one with fail all.
yeah.
One of them is with
Oh.
everyone's favorite Carne Senna. So there's some variety in the quests.
Okay. All right. There the rewards. I mean, we talked about them last week.
rewards are
The
quite
event would have
good.
been better if it was all the post quests.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
At least we got a really cute barding.
Yes.
I really like the barding.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. The mobile's quite high quality as well.
But it is a mobile. We're going to see a lot of them. in the
It's just
future.
another mobile.
Nice bit of
Yes.
mobile.
Yeah.
So don't do this again.
It's a warning. Do not do this again. All right.
Just skip the holiday if you can't think of anything good to do.
Okay. It was a bit unfair
Well,
for it though.
they did think of something good to do. They just didn't make it the main story.
That's true.
Maybe they should have just made it more about the freeform post.
But also, it was a bit unfair for it because it had to compete with the All Saints Wake event, which
That's
shouldn't even
true,
have been
yes.
this. Yeah. So yeah. All right. That's our very scathing review of Valentione's Day. But there you go. Now it's time for MogMail. And our first MogMail is from Pioneer Misa from Osan. Where is the MogMail? Hello, speakers. The upcoming 18th live letter has me more interested than usual, since it will talk about the next 10 years for the game instead of just 6.1. I am wondering what they could have in store for us that is big enough to be announced outside of the regular live letters, and I'm pretty convinced that it might only be a change in the patch schedule, like making the wait for the new patch shorter or longer. Since shorter sounds like a dev nightmare, I'm thinking they have reasons to make it longer, and I only really thought of 2. Upgrading the engine and the graphics, we are talking about the next 10 years after all, and probably just a pipe dream, perhaps adding new zones for the new MSQ. Since we're done with the old one and we are back to being adventurers, could we adventure to new places before the expansion? It's not unseen in other MMOs, and if we count Eureka and Bosnia, it's not 100% unseen in 14 either. Just needs to be connected to the MSQ. After all the talks of adventure and exploration, being stuck in Garlemald or Thavnir until 7.0 would feel a bit anticlimactic to me. What do you think? What could they announce for this special live letter? Is an upgraded engine and new zones for the MSQ just wishful thinking? Anyway, hype, and sorry for the time-sensitive MogMail. Bye, from Zionir. We have another story I just remembered, but we'll do that as we lead into the main story. All right. What do we think?
I'd love an engine upgrade.
Yeah, that's
not happening this expansion.
No, but we have to.
It's an overall 10 years. Like, what's the 10-year plan?
There's
yeah.
There's the engine thing I think is something that a lot of people want to bring up because 10 years is a long time. 14 doesn't look bad for its age. The only thing...
It's not the visuals we necessarily need upgrading.
No, because it's the spaghetti, the other stuff.
They chose an art style that is relatively fine in terms of the age.
Yes.
It's not it's similar to World of Warcraft, but eventually even that needed to be upgraded. Assumedly, 14 will be like that as well.
Yeah.
We'll get slightly higher res textures.
The textures.
Go forward. I mean, they're already clearly improving over time.
We also need better aliasing, anti-aliasing.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
If we have that, the game will look a lot better, and maybe some vibrancy options.
Yeah. There's, what's okay? There's everyone's. I mean, World of Warcraft has ray tracing right now,
it does,
and that's the
shadows,
hottest hot potato right now. And 14's shadows are hideous.
They are. 14's shadows are probably the worst part of it.
And the reflections are sometimes they are at a lower frame rate.
FPS.
Yeah,
it looks bad.
I don't know. It's there's a couple of things there, and I know that there's the engine is probably pushed pretty far beyond its designed limits at this point. We've talked about the cardboard people or the people that are completely still in the big shots. That is a clear sign that we can't have that many moving characters on screen at once.
I mean, I will say this is a problem in other Square Enix games. If you can remember one of the final battles in Kingdom Hearts 3, they were background heartless that had 2 frames of animation.
Yeah, but that was there were quite a lot more of them than there were. I mean, we're talking maybe a group of 20 where maybe 10 of them are just completely still. But yeah, stuff like that. But implementing a new switching engine is a lot of work, and possibly something that could take the game off for a while. I don't know how, because I mean, obviously they'll have a test build and then they'll patch it in, but I don't know if it's that simple. I don't know if they can just be like, oh, here's a new patch and it's a new engine. Can they do that? Is it that simple? Can they just do this in parallel while running the game? I mean,
know. It wouldn't be. I feel like it would be more than a new patch. I feel like we'd have to essentially re-download the game.
You'd have to re-download
likelihood.
The game. Yeah, but they'd have to patch the test build to also have new content, because it would take months and months.
Yeah,
and months, a year or 2 maybe.
And that's not even considering all the time that it will take for them to make the new textures, because we know that they don't have high res versions of the textures. They mentioned this, at least for the A Realm Reborn stuff. That was made in the resolution that is in the game now, apparently. They have to remake that, or they could go for the route of having AI upscale it, but that doesn't always look that great. But I don't know.
It doesn't.
I mean, that might be the best compromise, though.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's going to delay an engine upgrade even further.
Yeah. But I don't know if they're going to talk about that on the live letter, but it is something that I see people bring up a lot.
What else can they talk about? There was a 10-year plan.
When female Hrothgar likely going to arrive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They might even give us a design concept of it.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just we're going to do 7.0, 8.0, 9.0.
A possible future limited job there are things they can tease that aren't really like tied to the story or like something they wouldn't have
Limited job would
necessarily
be
planned
good.
for the next expansion.
Yeah. I mean, World
They
Visit
like
is going to be
to
talked about.
reveal even limited jobs as part of FanFest and stuff.
Yeah. Do you
Well, they've done it one time. I don't think you can take that as necessarily a precedent.
Maybe not.
do you think so? The character creator updates, as someone mentioned in chat, but do you think for them to make big changes to the character creator, that might require an engine update? Is what I'm thinking, because every time he talks about like we can't have like add stuff to the character creators because of all the spaghetti that appears when you're, we have to account for all these changes in the game. So
Yeah. It's why that like every character type can only have a certain amount of sliders. It's why like Mikote can have a tail slider, but they don't get in the abdominal slider in the same way that Heroes do, because that slider is used for their tail.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe that might require an engine upgrade. So that's why I think okay, actually maybe they'll mention it during the live letter in some way. Like that is because remember last time in an interview we have covered, I'm pretty sure Yoshi-P said that at some point if we like decide to do it, we can do it. Because I know we've had a big discussion about this engine before, and we brought up an interview where he talked about engine upgrades. So it's clearly in their minds. Like, this is something they're considering.
I mean,
and if they're going for another 10 years. Yeah, go on.
I think if I remember details from that interview correctly, he said that they can do it if they need to if they want to do it, if people want them to do it. But you have to be aware it will take development time away from expansions, in the sense that everything else will take much longer than it normally would. The schedules we're used to at this point.
There is also, like a possibility that they might have been doing some low-key work in the background already.
That's true.
But
I'll take a patch away if they can implement a full checklist glamour system.
Yeah.
An example of something like that would be when they implemented flying for Realm Reborn.
Right. Yes.
That was something they'd been working for a very long time in the background.
Yeah.
And it leaked into the real game with the rocks.
Remember we saw that happen live on our stream. Someone just bonked into it. I'm like, what? They also have a lot more money now with everything that's happened. So that might have, the fact that they're talking about the next 10 years is already a sign that they're like ready to put more money into this game.
We're going to be playing this game in 2032.
Sorry?
What did you say? Can you imagine this game in 2032?
No, I said we will be playing this game in 2032.
Well, only if it's good.
My God. 10 years is a long time.
I know. 10 years is a long time. It is a third of our lives.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, that's wild. Well, that's crazy. But there you go.
That's nice, though.
Yes.
If it's always good, it means we've at least got one thing to play for the next 10 years.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Okay. Yeah.
What do you think of the idea of another zone, like a exclusive zone?
They've never done. It's such a big thing I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Because other MMOs, it's like, now we're taking on whatever the big enemy. We're moving into their zone. We've added this new zone with a new hub.
So like a patch. Patch
just
zone.
A little island or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Corvus, maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
Chuck it in. Let us go. I'd love that. If they did a patch new zone, that'd be wild.
Yeah.
I unfortunately think we're going to be limited to things like the Garlean Enclave or other similar like concepts.
Might be smaller stuff. Yeah. But still.
And we have gotten like tiny new areas that are still cool. Like we got Gangos, we got Turncliffe. Like they didn't need to add these. They could have just had us like do these instances from like the locks or
That's true.
The Doman Enclave.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
Exciting stuff though.
And
go on.
And we got the Firmament as well.
True.
That's true.
True.
I don't think they would talk about new patch zones at this 10-year one though.
No,
that'll be for the next.
That'll be for the 6.x one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
The most I can think of is like maybe they could even say we are going to Mirror City in the next expansion
That would
or
be
something
pretty
like that.
impressive.
That's the most I would expect from them.
Mm-hmm.
Like a generalized concept, because we're adventurers now. Is there going to be like a shift in narrative? Is there going to be a shift in gameplay loop?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a lot that can. It's quite exciting actually because we don't really know what's next. So
No, it's possibly one of the most exciting times in the game's lifetime.
yeah.
It can. It's just.
They
be
could
make or
break
break,
the
you never know.
mold completely now and do something very different going forward. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe our predictions are because our predictions are based on what was before, kind
We're
of.
expecting
So,
more of the same,
yeah,
but just a new.
but that can be
storyline.
completely different now, and that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Zionir. Next, MogMail. Whoop. Nope, that's old. Old MogMail. Ignore old. This is from from last week. Sorry. There you go. Maily Algram from Fairy. Hey, oi, and g'day, lovely speakers. Long time no see in terms of our dear Moogle courier, that is. Regarding the great discussion last week and why Oshon might be considered the father and not Azem. In Azem's role as the Unsundered World, in the Unsundered World, they were never a leader, but a champion of the people. They offered counsel and help wherever it was needed, and to those who might otherwise be overlooked. In the position of the progenitor of the 12, the parent, you'd expect Azem to be bound to the responsibility of leadership. Perhaps they didn't want to be bound by that role and gave it to one they designated eldest, Oshon, so that they could continue what they had dedicated their life to until that point. I hope this adds a new bit of flavor to the whole mythos surrounding the 12 as we currently understand them. Lots of love, Maily.
I guess you greet people in Britain with oi, Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah, oi.
Yeah. You, oi. What's
Oi.
up? Yeah.
I think this is very possible.
Yes.
The question is just like how it relates to the origin myth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oshon. I really want Mela's prediction to come
Same.
true. I really want, like, I don't want to, like, on like, you know what I mean? I'm so conflicted, but in a way, it would be so fucking cool if it was true, because Mela has never wavered from that theory.
Yeah, I know. I think it might have been in one of the YouTube comments for last week's episode. There was someone that was speculating that maybe it's not that we are just Azem or that we are Oshon, but we are actually all of them. That
Yeah.
our acts inspired these 12 different interpretations of who we are. Or, like, our past self.
That's a good theory. I can see that.
And that way, we're all right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it means they don't need to put, they don't need to have a stance on, and like the deity you pick at the start doesn't need to have meant anything.
Right.
And they don't need to, like, waste any of the 12.
Right.
Because we're all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That
Okay.
would be interesting.
It would make Emmett Selk's comment about, do we even know who the 12 is, very funny in retrospect.
Yeah.
Very trolly.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Maily. The last
We are
MogMail,
Oshon.
unfortunately, isn't on screen, so I'm just going to read it. It's from Manic Starico from Cerberus. Hello, speakers. In the previous great discussion, this is linked to the previous MogMail and last week's discussion. The subject was about how much Azem knew about us. It was kind of funny to me because for the last couple of weeks, I was pondering to send a MogMail about that very thing. I was rather surprised that no one mentioned the Warrior of Light's biggest shtick in our arsenal, the Echo. We know that the Echo is a fraction of an ancient's power, so everything we and others could do with the Echo, they could do. Something that was shown a bit in Elpis when Vena and the Warrior of Light went to see a memory of when Hermes launched multiple Meteon into space. So what if Azem's shtick would be somewhat the same, but stronger, not only seeing memories, but also of events to come, as we know one version of the Echo can do that too. So it could be that Azem, while having a conversation with Themis on the topic of pandemonium, has a vision of us falling from the sky, or that Vana did tell Azem about what happened in Elpis, and then Azem has a vision of beyond the final days, knowing that they shouldn't interfere with any of both sides, giving them a reason to just simply decline and await the sundering. But that's my theory on that matter, anyway.
That's
Very
quite
true.
interesting because Mikoto's is seeing the future.
Yeah,
It's very
And if
unique.
the Echo is just part of Vana,
yeah.
and she put it on us, but also put it on other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could very well be that she just had a vision.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
possible.
Yes, and chat's correct. Kryle's echo is similar to the ability to track ether or
That's
track
true.
emotion.
Mm-hmm. That's actually we did not consider that last week, but that is a good it's a good theory.
And even if you didn't subscribe to the idea that Azem could see the future in the same way that Mikoto does, you could also say that he's seeing the past in the sense that he might be in the same place that we were, and like just us being there would have allowed him to see visions of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, could have been some timey-wimey.
Yeah. No, I like this theory.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think you're onto something, possibly.
Maybe we need to learn more about the original Echo, I guess.
Yeah.
I would like to learn more about the original Echo. I feel as if I feel like the writers might think that they've concluded the information that we need about it at this point.
Yeah.
But it feels like, I mean,
But we'll
would have had
always
so much
have
power.
We'll always have the Echo, so there might be a point where
Yeah.
we learn more about it. But
Like, could Azem do any of the things, like see past events, or see the future, or see ether, or feel emotion, whatever?
Mhm.
Can they do all the bits of the Echo, and we only get part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they all
They
had a
might be-
specialized role.
Mhm.
I mean, they might be things that you need to specialize in the same way that like Hythlodaeus and Emmett Selk had greater ether sight. Like some people had a better ability to see into the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
I feel like the ancients surely aren't done with at this point. There's so much
Which
to learn
which is
about
why
stuff.
the pandemonium storyline is probably going to be a bit of a lore dump in that
I
regard.
hope so.
And depending on the direction that the 12 goes, could be as well.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
And worst case scenario, they'll dump it into the third law book.
Yes, they could do that as well. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So
Really good idea.
Speaking of the third law book, that's something they could talk about in next week's live letter.
true. That is
they could
true.
even give it. They could say pre-orders live right now.
Yeah.
Oh, don't tease me like that.
All right. Thank you, Manix Durico, and everyone who sent in MogMail. Send us more MogMail, speakersxv.com/MogMail, for us to read your MogMail. Okay. About next week. So next week is going to be a little hectic for us because it's the live letter, which is at a very inconvenient time, but also inconvenient time for two reasons. First reason being that it's very late in the it's like 3 a.m. for me, and it's probably going to last until like 9 a.m. because that's what it did last time. We had a translator there
because we know that they got a translator.
Yeah. And also it's the MGP final that day. That's so sad, but there's also that.
Sad.
So we have to watch that as well. So
we should probably explain what that is because I don't think we've ever talked about that on a podcast.
Sorry, it's the
MGP is the national qualifier for Norway's Eurovision Song Contest entry.
Yes, there you go. So it's going to be an XL episode, and we are not going to do the post show. So even though our stream will start a little late, it's been doing that for the past 5 weeks because MGP has been going for that long. Next week is the last episode. So we'll have an XL episode, which means no post show. So that goes out to patrons. We won't be reading questions from the syndicate that week. I will leave the channel open though, so you can just keep posting questions, but know that we won't read them next week. Okay, so that we'll also be covering it live on Friday, or Saturday if you're Central European. That's 2 a.m. GMT, 3 a.m. Central European, 9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm only saying that because apparently they've started listing it.
Yeah.
We didn't exist before.
Right. Yeah.
You're finally included.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there you go.
And for people saying this in chat, MGP stands for Melody Grand Prix. It does not stand for Mandeville Gold Saucer Point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for me, MGP has always been Melody Grand Prix. So whenever I see it in game, I'm like, oh god, this okay, yeah. It was funny for me, only for me when that was announced, when Gold Saucer was announced. I was like, oh, that's very funny for me only. All right, that's it. Now let's talk about something leading into the Q&A very quickly. The Korean client is getting some new gear on the on the Final Fantasy 14 online store.
Look at that belly.
It's a
belly window, everyone.
I believe these two outfits will launch with the Korean launch of Endwalker, which is scheduled for May. Because everyone remember, the Korean and Chinese clients are always on a delay because of laws that they have. Don't ask me to go into the specifics of it.
No.
I like the chocobo.
Yes, it's a so for audio listeners, it's like how would you describe this outfit? It's like
Streetwear?
Yeah.
Streetwear.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
I think they're usable on both characters, but the male model has a backwards cap, which like Ash Ketchum, I believe that'll be a reference for the kids. A black T-shirt with
Ash Ketchum hasn't done that for years.
With a sleeveless like denim vest, all in black. Big chain necklace with a chocobo and some gloves. Only the right hand has a glove. That's pretty wicked.
The nails are dyed. I'm curious as to if the nails are being dyed as a part of the outfit.
Ooh.
Or if it's just like an aesthetic for the concept art.
And then I've got big chunky. Like
I love the shoes. I'd love these kind of shoes, but they'd be. In life, these would cost like $300.
Oh yeah, that was
expensive. I'm not a sneakerhead.
And then the female model, it's basically the same gloves, no hat.
You said that like a fucking thing from Star Trek.
Oh, like a Ferengi.
Like a Ferengi?
Yeah,
the
Ferengi.
female.
She has a small jacket, like the Calf Rider jacket, kind of, and then a sort of tank top that doesn't cover her belly.
Like Tifa.
Yeah,
she like Tifa.
But are these gender locked?
I don't think so.
No, apparently they are not.
So there you go.
I don't want to confirm this because I haven't been able to tell. Because a lot of people have said this. I haven't seen any official announcement, though. But yes, apparently they can be worn by both genders.
Okay.
The only thing that seems to change between them is the chest piece.
Well,
you can't quite tell if the legs are the same on both.
No. Well, because the
hers is exposing the strings.
Yeah.
But I think the worst case scenario, the top will change based on gender, but hopefully not.
Okay, well, that leads us to the Korean Fan Fest Q&A, which, the Korean Fan Fest happened, and in it was a Q&A with, I think there were multiple people. It's Yoshida, Nakagawa.
Just Yoshida.
Oh, is it just it's just them? Okay. So let's start with, let's just jump into the questions. Why don't male Highlanders and male Rogadon have eyebrows?
Good question.
Do you think we're going to get a good answer, Mela? You know already, because obviously you have the spoiler, but...
I can read it.
I think we are going to get a good answer.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so here you go. It's very faint, but they do have them.
They must be very faint.
Stop complaining, everyone.
There you go. He said it himself. They have eyebrows.
They have skin-colored eyebrows.
Yes. Shadowbringer spoilers. Did Elidibus see the first Warrior of Light recorded in the history of ancient Norvrand and in admiration take on that form in Seat of Sacrifice? Yoshida says, that form is the result of gathering together wishes to save the world and dispel the darkness. He took the form of the first Warrior of Light to gather together the maximum amount of hope to defeat the Warriors of Darkness.
Yes.
You know,
I
it's just a
think we could-
FF1 reference.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's...
I love this changing question tone.
Yeah. Are there plans for mechanics that check the skill of only DPSs?
What?
Eh? Does it mean there are in the game? There are sections where the DPS is like on Phantom Train,
Yeah.
where you have to DPS things. Does it mean like personal DPS checks or what?
I don't. Well, I'm not. The question is a bit unclear, but the answer from Nakagawa is there are currently no plans for this. In pug groups, it would lead to too much stress. It would be a gorilla gimmick, like in A5S, where you'd end up wanting people who can be gorillas to come. Not
I was
so.
talking about
Translator's
the-
note.
Twinkie Flinks?
Yeah.
It's Rat Finks Twinkie
Yeah.
Dinks, isn't it? Or no?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
was it
yeah.
The other one.
Yeah, it's Rat Pinks, Twinkie Dinks, yeah. Something
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
What does that mean though? Because the gorilla mechanic is a really good, and I've had a lot of people
thought the idea
in the
was-
modern era
mean-
that suck at that mechanic.
I
Uh,
Well, I haven't done it on Savage, but I thought the idea was that you didn't want DPS turning into the gorillas anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, you don't. You want a healer. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, so there's no plans for that. It was a bit unclear exactly what we're discussing here, but whatever.
No, I don't know what it's asking.
No.
I think they, because obviously all the fights in Savage are deep in extreme DPS checks, but that
Yeah.
includes tanks and healer DPS.
Right.
Maybe they want something that skill checks pure DPS.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
But we do have that in some
Also-
fights, so I don't know.
also, I don't know if there are any mechanics that are purely like DPS. Like almost
Not
every
really.
mechanic is like has a chance to be on anyone, or
Yeah.
is
Why would
just
you
a tank,
want
or
that
just a
anyway?
killer.
I don't know. It's odd.
It's a group effort anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. What are your favorites of the battles you've designed? Nakagawa says Sophia, Ozma, and Eureka. That's a good trio. When we made Sophia, Mr. Sudo, who is that?
Who knows? Another person on the
Was
development team.
developing Sephiroth. We were interested, but also frustrated if we could go that far when we saw the gimmick of Sephiroth turning giant. So we reworked Sophia and came up with a scales idea.
Frustrated. That was
Try-
an amazing part.
This is why Nakagawa is nicknamed Mr. Ozma. On the Mahjong live stream last month, he couldn't make it since he was busy working on mechanics for Dragon Song. So his empty chair had an Ozma figure put next to it. Oh yeah, he didn't
Dragon
actually.
Song.
That's the new Ultimate, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So yeah, he's working on that.
So for a second, I forgot that it talks about it, what it actually will be.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that,
No,
was
it
that a
is-
little hint?
No,
They have.
no. They've literally shown us the arena, haven't they? So
Yeah.
Question: There's an Ozma
was-
figure.
There's a what?
For him,
There's an no, but like
Oh yeah,
they've made
Ozma
one.
figure. Yeah, they've
there
made
probably
one.
Was
Must
one
be the-
from like Final Fantasy 9.
it was just an orb.
Yeah, easiest thing to make is just an orb.
Maybe it was just a model of Jupiter.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, when the tank selects recommended gear, is there a reason it equips fighter gear? Yoshida says there was a problem with the class system in the prior version. Oh, here we go again. Spaghetti. However, in 6.0 this was changed and fighter gear is no longer selected. So,
Yes, that's fair. Because then in A Realm Reborn specifically, there was a chance that when you went selected recommended gear, if you're a tank, it would recommend you to use DPS gear.
yes.
Which
Well, that's what fighter.
would make technically yes, that's what they mean when they say fighter gear.
Yeah.
Which technically makes you stronger, but
Yes.
it doesn't give you the tanky defense that you need to be a tank.
No.
Well, that was a big thing, wasn't it, during like Heavensward, especially where tanks would
Have strength
have
tanks.
like the berserker
Yeah.
like, style gear and whatever.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
It was a bit of Wild West back
They
then.
really forced you to not do that now, though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
because
they don't want you to.
yeah, because it led to situations where people were like, "Oh no, we have a tank who's like all deaf. Like, what the fuck? We want strength, dude. Why? No, sorry, all vit. Why are you going all vit? Go strength. We'll go faster." So yeah, I mean, it's because of that. All right. Are there plans to make extreme fights with diverse patterns, such as Seat of Sacrifice Extreme?
What?
As in, like, where there are 4 separate
Oh.
mechanics and they is what I suspect this question is asking.
Yeah, if you remember
Have they
Seat of
done
Sacrifice, there was a lot of that.
Heidelin?
Well, no.
Oh,
Remember,
that's
they're
true,
still
wouldn't have,
they
will
haven't
Yeah,
done
yeah.
Endwalker
well,
yet.
Look forward to Heidelin.
Please look forward to Endwalker. Nakagawa says, "We will make extreme battles to be close to Savage 1 and 2 fights. I think people who like these fights will also like Savage. In addition to this idea, the idea is the designers in charge can freely make it and surprise us."
I'd say they're
That's
closer
the
to Savage 1.
question.
I think Savage 2 is quite a bit harder than any extreme fight. Generally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yes. we've cleared
This
the
tier,
extreme
yeah,
ones.
This tier.
Yeah.
Some tiers, maybe they're closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Previously, maybe.
Yeah.
3
Like
is usually where it picks up. Yeah,
Mhm.
Catastrophe is not super bad.
Oh yeah, right. There is yeah.
The
Right.
painting one
Oh yeah.
wasn't that bad. Once you'd figured out the dance, it was super straightforward.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There is no orchestrion role for Eorzea de Chocobo. Are there plans to add it?
Kind of surprising.
Yeah, I guess. I haven't thought. Well, I get. Oh God, it'd be so
Eorzea de
annoying to listen to.
Chocobo.
Is that just the riding theme for Chocobos? Like, yeah. Why would you want to hear that? Like, even in your estate?
Because you never hear it anymore because everyone turns off mount music.
Because of that. It's because of that.
Why do you think they added in mounts that had other songs?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Implementation of songs before the orchestrion feature was added has been postponed. The orchestrion roles for 6.1 are already fixed. I will ask those responsible if it can be added in the next patch.
Oh no.
So there you go.
Isn't it Soken that's responsible for that?
I would assume so, yeah. Are there plans for bosses that use bigger maps or three-dimensionality more? Yeah. They're again. Please look forward to Endwalker. I think Zodiac will be pretty on spot there, but there are quite a lot of players expressing their wish for bosses that use the maps in more unique ways. So I think we might adopt that approach in the future. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there are some do you remember the Eden Leviathan where it split the platform in 2 and stuff? That was pretty unique, and
Yeah.
if they could bring in things like Arachne Eve, where it has 2 platforms, into Savage and Extreme content, things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe split the group into 2.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
As for actual three-dimensionality in arenas, unlikely to happen ever again after Twintania.
No.
Twintania ruined it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's
The only way they can manage that is when they do those mechanics where it's high ground, low ground arithmetics.
Right.
And you just have a debuff, and if you're on the wrong one, you die.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. God, Twintania was
I mean,
horrible place. And it's
Titan Savage has three-dimensionality.
True. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Could you add weather and time selection for group poses? Yoshida says, due to my concerns, this hasn't been implemented. There are many voices in the global version also calling for this, but MMOs are not just individual, but shared among many people, and I don't think it would be good for one person to become like a god and change the weather or time.
It's only within the group, Yoshi-P.
What are you on about?
This person's not asking for people to just be able to change the weather whenever they wish.
No. What?
I will agree with him on perhaps that only have fair weather and rain and stuff. I don't think you should be able to put interdimensionality
okay, of
in
course.
the overworld or something like that, but
yeah.
He's afraid of
Things
exploits.
that can
How
exist in...
on earth will you be able to...
exploits, Nikhil.
But it doesn't change the actual weather.
But the weather doesn't really change.
And you can't fish while you're in
right?
sheep
Well, we
pens.
don't know because we don't know how the system works.
Well,
Maybe
that's what. Yeah, that's the thing.
maybe it actually does. Like that's the only way they can do it with Okay.
That's funny.
Okay, that's
Spaghetti.
probably
But
spaghetti.
in fairness, there is a thing about where the location in character creation screen is a real location and you can put AoEs there.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on. Which mechanics do you think you did the best job in making? Nakagawa says, third is Ozma's form change mechanic. Second is Sophia's scales mechanic. First is the Eden's Gate descent spell in waiting mechanic. Let's go through them. Let's go with the first one, form change.
Cool.
Is form change just when it just
diamond and
turns into
square.
the different?
I
Yeah.
don't think there's. After you've figured that out, it's not that impressive.
It's
It
I mean,
visually
we
looks
are a
cool.
bit. I mean, we've done Ozma a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously, but
I mean, initially Ozma was very cool, but I think
There
the
are
most
very
like-
mechanic Eureka as well.
yeah, yeah,
but like the most difficult Ozma mechanics, like the best ones were like meteor placement, and
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
that's it really.
Sophia's scales mechanic was really cool.
That
I
was really
I remember that fight very well. I had to do that
Normal
alone.
mode, not very impressive.
No, but in extreme is very fun. 'cause
Extreme was hard.
You have to like remember the scales and the weights, like for the balls that hits. You know, it's very cool. They also the thing that always I will never get past this. I like when they revealed that Leviathan's arena when that goes up and down. It's the actual overworld, and I think that's also the case for Sophia when the thing tilts. And they also revealed that we don't slide. There's actually like something pulling us, like because we're not actually moving. We're being pulled across. I always think
like
about that
a
when I
rescue
do
on
that
the other
now.
side of the
Yes,
arena.
it's like rescue essentially. Yeah. Yeah, but Sophia's scales mechanic is iconic and very good.
That is good.
Spell in waiting from Eden's Gate descent.
Is that
That's the one we don't like, I think.
Artemis?
Yes.
No,
No, isn't it?
Which
No.
one's Descent?
Oh, which one is descent?
Spell and Waiting is from the E2S, and E1 and E2.
What is E2?
It's the one, the one where you
F-Knight?
fight Voidwalker.
Voidwalker?
Oh my God! I forgot Voidwalker existed. What is
I mean, I
spell
thought
in
you were going
waiting?
to say we dislike it because that's what killed
Oh.
our Static from last
The
expansion.
timer mechanic.
Oh,
No,
it's
that
the
one was quite
time
good.
mechanic. I thought it. I
It's
thought it
very
was.
clever.
I
That
thought it
is a
was
good
the
one.
last Eden where you see all the spells and they're like
Yeah.
preparing. Okay.
And
No.
he stores them because it's like FFA. He
Yeah.
draws
Okay.
and stores
Yeah,
them.
that's like Junction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that one was good.
That one was good, and it was definitely hard.
I don't think it's very interesting on normal mode, but in Savage, it's very
Yeah.
like it's quite interesting having to like resolve them in the correct order.
Yes.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
was tough. I think
Yeah.
the first Wing of Eden was probably the best fight wise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd say the second wing was.
Second was okay,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Last one wasn't though.
No, I agree. The last one was a disappointing end. Sadly.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the burning question on everyone's mind. Why hasn't?
I've been wondering this.
Yeah, but I feel like this has already been answered before. We've already had a question like this. Why hasn't the
Yeah.
squadron system been updated yet? Yoshida said. We intentionally stopped updating it. One reason is we wanted to improve the quality of trusts in Endwalker, but there is also another big reason. Since it is connected to a future update, there will be an opportunity to talk about this, so please wait a little longer.
Ooh.
What do you think
Oh.
that could be?
Will they be able to start bringing back materia higher than level 4? That'd be cool. We haven't used level 4
That would be
materia
cool.
since Stormblood.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gyogi, are you telling me that you actually send your squadron out on missions?
Not anymore.
No.
Okay, good. Because that's a thing that I actually forgot existed. For a
Yeah.
moment.
Same.
They're only for leveling for me now.
Yeah. Oh,
They
they're
need
barely
to
for
update
that
the
now.
mission system for sure.
Yeah.
It was like Ventures, but they sucked.
Yeah. Well, they could bring back quite a lot of shit though when they came back, but
Like,
Sometimes.
could bring back very useful things. Materia back when it was first relevant was like, especially the crafter and gatherer stuff was
Oh, yeah,
very
those-
valuable.
yeah.
Those and the scripts, you could cap scripts if you were good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go. Trusts.
there will be
squadrons. What are they going to do?
there is another big reason. So, I wonder it's future update. So I don't know what that means. So we'll see.
Connected to.
Yeah.
Mhm. The
So not
translators.
Oh yeah, there's a translator's note here. I'll just read that, I guess. What are your thoughts on what this could mean? I have to wonder if the medium-term plan is phasing out or combining squadrons with an expanded trust system to cover 1 through 70 too. Though maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
They just give them all a stock tank, healer, and DPS AI.
yeah.
So it doesn't matter which squadron member you use, and then just chuck them in.
Yeah, because surely you can just use, like, say, they don't have to be, Thancred or
No,
You know?
it doesn't need to be a personality.
they just put a character on top of the AI, which has already been programmed,
Exactly.
and then okay. Since Eden's verse, a damage down debuff has been added. What is the reason for the change in debuffs? Well, they've changed the spelling now. Nakagawa.
Velvet, I think.
For high difficulty content, I think this is superior to the damage increase debuff in various aspects. With the damage up debuff, the healer is burdened, and it's difficult to adjust for the effect size. With damage down debuff, the healer is not burdened, and it is more fair. It also allows groups to practice more before hitting Enrage. What are they
That's true.
talking about?
Getting a
How-
damage down debuff.
How almost every mechanic that is avoidable in Savage from now on gives you damage down.
Oh, okay. Right, okay,
Instead of
yeah.
giving the boss damage up for whatever.
I see. All right.
Rather than giving vulnerability up to the player that receives
yeah.
it, because that just punishes the healer
Yes.
rather than the person that made
I
the
hadn't
mistake.
even thought about that. Okay, that makes sense. All
The
right.
healer can push through it, but if you have everyone getting a damage down, it can stop you being able to hit your check.
Yes.
So it kind of works out better anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. Could there be a way to confirm when hunters have killed S ranks? Yoshida says this way it would become content that can be done in a detached way, when what we want is for players to exchange information. It's a joint endeavor of players using external sites to track S rank spawns, so we don't want to make it too convenient.
I'm fine with that.
I'll
You'll know when it's dead if it's modern content anyway, because everyone will scream,
yeah.
"Why'd you pull?" And thanks for spawn and share.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of this type of content, so I think this, the fact that we have, it's essentially only this, so whatever. Leave it as it is. I think it's okay.
I like that he's saying.
Yeah, he
external
even
site.
mentions external sites, yeah.
Like because that's what the hunt is.
Yeah.
If you get on a good hunt train or hunt group where people wait, it's a good time.
Yeah.
It is fun
Hunts are very-
just as a group.
Hunts are very much a throwback to 1.0 or even 11.
Yeah, it is. Okay, there are mechanics that can be skipped depending on the boss's HP. Do you take this into account during development? Nakagawa says, we do consider it. In 2.x, it was often the case that faces changed depending on the HP, but unexpected skips sometimes occurred. We didn't make much use of this in the Omega raids, but the reason was it was difficult to adjust the balance.
I
So,
don't think that happens too much these days.
No.
They just won't do as many mechanics. They still
Right.
follow their pattern.
yeah.
I wish Thor had followed his pattern. I wish he didn't just go invulnerable once he got hit about half, 70% to 50% HP.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can like one shot him down to his his phase change, and it's like, oh god,
Yeah.
time for 15 minutes of nonsense before we can fight again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Makes
love.
farming him very unpleasant.
Yeah. Are you still farming him for the card, Jurgen?
Yes, of course I am.
Oh God. Okay. I love this next question. It's so cute. Is the crystal tower in the first safe? That's such a. I mean, Sure, I guess that's a valid question. Like they're asking, like, is it full of monsters? Yoshida says it's already secure. This crystal tower is from the future timeline after the 8th calamity, and it was strictly regulated by Garland Ironworks.
Good.
You're about to find out it's not very safe. So, spoilers to any Koreans that are
Yeah.
watching this.
Don't you
You're
worry.
getting a lot of spoilers if you watch this regularly.
Yes, you shouldn't be watching this.
Don't worry, Korean players. It's safe.
It's safe. Are there plans for more difficult solo content such as Bosya's duels? Nakagawa says, I think it would be a waste for it to end there. I'd like to do something with it in the future. For example, you could be challenged by Gilgamesh on the source maps, or by Sadu in the Azim Steppe, and players could gather to watch. That would be very MMO-like. That would be cool.
That could
Sorry.
be quite cool.
I know what he means when he says source maps, but it just
Oh
makes
yeah,
me
I was
of
thinking.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah. yeah. On the source. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. They could even.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
It wouldn't quite work for Sadu, but for like Gilgamesh. No, sorry, but like for Gilgamesh, it could be like any Eorzean zone, like any Aram Reborn.
Yeah.
You could just spawn randomly in one of them, and then people are like, oh, Greg's up, and then you all run there and you get a chance to see who's going to fight him.
Yeah.
But Sadu would have to be in Azim.
Yes. Yeah. It's a nice way to
I like
keep old stones alive as well, other than just fates. You know, you'd have that as well. And
'cause,
hunts.
like no one does Odin anymore because you've all got the
Right.
game, but
Yeah, update Odin. Make it like not a fate, but like a dual system. That would be cool.
You make it like Gilgamesh in Eorzea, and then make it not Yotsu, Yojimbo in the Far East.
Yeah.
yeah. You could finish the fate where you fight Odin or another. You could add big fates to the others, and then afterwards,
Yeah.
just
There'll
like
be-
boss,
there-
just
you
one
can-
person gets to get the jewel.
Like for with Odin, you can still have, because there like I said, there needs to be like a battle before where you get selected.
Yeah,
So you can
and to
still have the
drop the-
weather stuff, and you'll have to find the
to drop
fate and
the,
shit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Totems
cool
to get his
idea.
gear.
Yeah.
If they go in that direction.
Yeah.
I like it. It would be very MMO like.
Would be. Yeah. Are there any plans? This is a big one. Are there any plans
The biggest one.
for a new deep dungeon? Yoshida says, there are many requests from the global market. We plan to implement a new deep dungeon in 6.x. So there it is, folks.
Now, you've had an expansion break. Naoki Yoshida. So this better be a good one.
Yeah. So
Heaven on High was not that good.
no.
Fine. It was just not an evolution of what came before it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
It was
not
more of the
good
same.
enough.
But it was the things they added weren't like, they just weren't that great. So
They weren't that exciting.
yeah.
It had a couple of like QOL changes, like rather than transforming into a what are they called? The winged large creatures like this.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
the ones that one hit. What were they called?
Kuribu?
No. Good lord.
Ahriman?
No. Ahriman are the eyes. I know what you mean. It's the big chat, please. The one where you do the
The one where you one-shot people?
Manticore.
Oh, the Manticore.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they replaced that with the petrification thing, which was way more convenient.
That's true. That's
Like-
true.
Oh,
They were
but way
very
less
like
fun.
nice changes like that, but I don't care if it was less fun. It was more. It was more like easier to deal with.
Yeah. Well, they are making a brand new deep dungeon, so hopefully.
Lots needs to change.
Well, now they've had Palace of the Dead, and then they did Heaven on High, and they've probably seen the feedback that people were like a little
Well,
mixed
that's
on
why they
that.
make one last expansion.
Right, exactly. So now they've had time to figure out like, okay, this is the winning recipe. Hopefully. So we'll see. That's exciting. How is it decided which NP? Yes, go on.
I was just gonna say, hopefully they make challenging 4-man content that is not tied to deep dungeons. That'd be nice.
That would also be nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
He's so reluctant to add that though. I don't know why, but
I know.
We
We
have
got to
like
take Rathalos
yeah, yeah.
for again.
Okay,
we could
so
do like a boss rush thing or something.
yeah. Oh, bring back Skirmish, Yoshi-P, from 1.0, where you just get like waves of enemies and bosses.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah.
Even like not even like it's like mythic dungeons, because like trash is trash. There's not much they can do to make that more exciting generally.
Whoa.
Okay.
Some of the ones in WoW, some of the like debuffs in WoW was like they'd drop a puddle when they die, so you had to make sure they stacked properly, or if you stood still for too long, you'd drop a puddle.
Yeah.
That's
There
fair.
were things they could do.
Yeah.
The boss rush of like making like extreme tier versions of like the 4-man, like just the boss fights from dungeons could be exciting.
Yeah.
That would be very good.
Yeah.
Or just like a boss rush, even using the current versions, where there's like things that stop you, like maybe MP regeneration is nerfed a lot, so it's harder for healers to keep going, and
Yeah.
it gets more and more hard or something. I don't know.
I mean, this isn't 4-man content, but I still want to, I don't want any people to forget it. Hamlet Defense. How about you can make Hamlet Defense like a 4-man thing? You don't have to make it like as grand in scale as it was. Maybe have like a 4-man or 8-man versions of Hamlet Defense.
Replaying
Yeah, go on.
Replaying through A Realm Reborn on my Materia ult, like I got to do the high bridge thing again. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Inception.
Highbridge was good.
Yeah.
And that the one in Gridania where the red bellies or whatever they're called.
The Red Belly Hive in
Yeah.
South Shroud.
Mm-hmm.
That one was good too.
Yeah.
Plus you can get minions from the vendors after you do them, so it's like a little
Yeah.
secret
got my-
reward.
Tiny rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's sort of something that isn't, I don't know.
They have fate chains now, which
Yeah.
is something, but
Yeah, they do.
I will say I don't like how both of the two like major world fates for Endwalker just have square arenas.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Archaeotania had one last expansion, but like Formidable was just
That
there.
was just the cliff
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're way too formulaic.
Okay. So, how is it decided which NPCs to make into minions? Are there plans to make minions of villainous characters? Yoshida says monster-style minions are left to the device of the responsible team. As for NPC minions, they are all checked in order to avoid spoilers. NPC minions are only made when their character has finished their role, so please think that if a character doesn't have a minion yet, they still have a role to play. Yeah, that's a thing that you don't really think about. Yeah. Once a character has become a minion, that probably means we're not going to see them change in any major way going forward, because they still have to match their minion type.
Yeah.
So
You're right, yeah, Xenos will.
now I'm starting to think about who's minion, like who what are the minions we have currently? Like we have Emmerich.
Mm-hmm.
We have Brian.
Brian's dead.
Oh yeah,
That's
also Brian. Brian.
He came back for
Don't
one
just say
last-
Brian, Mela. You need to explain who Brian is. Grindelwald.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, we used to say. Orange once asked, "How do you pronounce that?" And we said Brian, and he's like, "Really?" So, yeah. Oh God. Okay, I'm just tearing down everything here. It's fine. All right. Yeah. Anyways, that's the answer. Characters will only be made into minions after their story is over. So,
I think you can make an exception for Scions. We have a wind up Kryl, and Kryl is still very relevant.
True.
When they change outfits, they can get a new
Yeah.
wind
True.
up when that outfit's open.
Kryl has not changed outfit since when her minion was made.
No.
Kryl will change outfit in 7.0.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will, because her outfit is a throwback to who she's like referencing.
Yeah, but
True.
maybe they'll update. They'll make like
It's kind of
the
sad.
same idea, but a variation of it.
It's sad that everyone gets like new outfits though, and she still has to walk around in her like kitty outfit.
I agree. Hey, it's a gift from Galeth.
Yeah, it is.
Valentione.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are the development team's intended strategies and the players' strategies similar? Nakagawa says it's half and half. We don't want players to imitate our strategies too much, but instead freely come up with their own. We were shocked when we saw the Meteor Marathon strategy for second coil turn 4.
Is that Twin Tanya?
No,
No, that's a nail.
Oh,
the Meteor Marathon strategy. It's been so long since I did.
You have to place them quite far apart
Yeah.
because they tether. I can't really remember.
I don't remember anymore.
No,
I
think
don't
I watched
remember.
anything
You
about
ran
it.
in a circle together to drop. Oh, that's what it was. Yes. All right. There you go. You all
That
just
was
lined up
during
in a
the
circle
brief-
and ran.
That was during the brief period of time where I just did not play the game, so
Oh, I see.
could not tell you a single thing about it.
Yeah. The merry-go-round. Okay, I'm starting. There's some memories coming back now. Yeah. All right. Is it possible to increase the number of UI hotbars? Jesus Christ, we have like, how many do we have? We have like 10. Yoshida, we can't give a firm commitment, but we will consider it.
I'd chuck it up to 20.
Oh my god, 20! Imagine if you had
Yeah.
all of them on screen at the same time.
Well, to be
You
fair,
don't
you
need
can
them all, but
you
you
can
can make them
shrink them,
tiny.
make them really
You
small.
can make them tiny. That's
Yeah.
true.
And when I made my little, when I had it with like a little menu system,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yes, the
that
macro.
took about 4 or 5 hotbars just for itself.
Yeah,
It does,
But it
but
looks
it's
good.
very cool.
it is.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. What is the most important thing to think about in making Final Fantasy XIV's world and story? Yoshida says, as the director, astonishment and empathy are the most important things to me. The scenario is made so there are elements where it's good to think about our own society. We try not to make perfect characters, and we try to accept different ways of thinking.
That's fair. Although I feel like maybe you're a little safe on some of the characters in Endwalker.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I feel like there wasn't enough jeopardy in it sometimes. And...
Jeopardy, their whole world was about to collapse.
Well,
Oh, sorry, no,
but
sorry, that was Shadowbringers. I thought you said Shadowbringers. You meant Endwalker.
Character-wise,
Well, also their world is crumbling as well, to be fair.
I just feel like I don't know. It was very good and evil.
Oh, okay, so there's like a... I don't fully agree. I don't know if you...
That.
I think that was why Meteon was so... No, it's not Meteon. The man.
Hermes.
Was okay
was so
in terms
interesting
of-
because
yeah,
you
he
can't
was one of the few
really...
characters that was more ambiguous.
Yeah. There's no clear line in him.
But no one really died. Nothing like it was the same afterwards as it was at the beginning, really.
Okay, well, this is something we've talked about before, where we kind of want blood sometimes, but sometimes you don't really need it. Like the stakes were already high, and the fact that we didn't know if they were gonna die or not, there were so many death
true.
flags, so many. Like I was sure that Thancred was gonna die this expansion, and that persisted for me almost throughout the entire experience. I thought he was gonna die, and when he just died when we arrived at Ultima Thule, I'm like, okay, well there you go, he's already died. There we go, that's it.
But then everyone died.
And then everyone died, and I'm like,
thinking, wow.
okay,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but still, I don't think people have to die.
don't
But the
have to
stakes were
die.
very high, and I really felt like people
Stakes-
were threatened.
The stakes were very high. Like the Elephant Man,
Oh.
Yeah,
and the
Matsuya.
baby, like people, Matsuya, thank you.
yeah,
People genuinely thought that like he and the child could have died in that moment.
That was
Yes.
probably one of the best scenes of the whole
when you
expansion.
because the mother was just fucking killed. Like she fell into the. I
Not
don't-
even in a great. She like
Yeah.
smacked.
Yeah, and then drowned in the pool, and then you go down. There's the
Well,
fucking
no.
baby at the bottom
Her
of the
neck
pool.
snapped before she even hit.
Well,
the pool.
yes, of
She
course,
was
but
dead.
she was dead in the pool. But her baby is
That
like
was a high
at the
point.
bottom
Yeah.
of the fucking pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real high point in terms of like a very serious,
Yeah.
gritty
Yeah.
moment.
I liked when the mother died.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're 14 needs like that grit sometimes.
yeah.
Heavensward was quite gritty.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of death in Endwalker. Actually, it's just it didn't affect the main
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
Remember the child that was just
Oh, the
turned into
child
a
got
thing and
popped.
got popped like a was
I wish
wild.
it played the wine cork sound.
Oh, God.
And the woman and her sister at the start of Garlemald as well.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
And actually, the whole family of elephants turning.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
There were some good moments.
Yeah, there was some pretty. Yeah. Okay. that's it. That's it. That's the show. We'll go into the post show. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHeidelin, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to watch the post show if you're watching live. Goodbye.
Bye.